Cicero, De Finibus Bonorum et Malorum, Book 3, Episode 3. Quare illam quidem dimitamus et suis se finibus tenere iubiamus, ne blanditiis eius, in lacebrisque impediatur disputandi severitas. Cicero continues his discussion of the role of voluptas, pleasure. He says, and so, therefore, qua re, let us say goodbye, let us dismiss or bid farewell, in fact, quidem, to her, illam, meaning voluptatem. So illam is feminine singular and accusative, the direct object of dimitamus, which is from the third conjugation verb dimittere, and it means to bid goodbye, to dismiss. It is first plural subjunctive, and this is an independent subjunctive. Let us do such and such. It's called a hortatory subjunctive because it's first plural, giving ourselves a command. There are two of these independent subjunctives, dimitamus and iubeamus. So then, let us, in fact, quidem dimitamus, say goodbye to her, to pleasure, and let us bid or command her, tenere se. Let us order her to keep herself, tenere se, to confine herself, suis finibus, within her own boundaries or her own limits. Finibus and suis are both masculine plural and ablative of instrument. Se is feminine singular and accusative with reference to illam, which in fact has reference to voluptatem. Let us bid her to restrain herself within her own boundaries. And then the reason is given why in the rest of the sentence, ne impediatur. Ne impediatur is a negative purpose clause, sometimes called a prohibitive subjunctive, a negative purpose. This sentence is an excellent example of how a subordinate subjunctive, impediatur, can depend upon an independent subjunctive, whether dimitamus or iubeamus. These verbs are independent, and they constitute the main clause. The ne clause is subordinate, and thus the verb impediatur is a subordination, a negative purpose, as I've said. Let us say goodbye to her, to pleasure, and order her to stay within her own limits, in order that not. Sometimes these negative purpose clauses are translated with the archaic English word lest, and that's acceptable, although not very contemporary in terms of its English style. So here's the reason why to say goodbye and command pleasure, in order that the severitas, this is feminine singular nominative, it's the subject, in order that the seriousness of our argument, disputandi is neuter singular and genitive, it is a verbal noun that is a gerund, in order that the seriousness of our conversation, of our argument, our philosophical dispute, it not be impediatur. Impediatur is a third singular, present passive subjunctive from the fourth conjugation verb impedio, impedire, like so. You can see im, the inseparable negative prefix, and ped, meaning foot. So to impede means to get in the way of one's feet, something that prevents walking, so that the seriousness of our conversation is not slowed down or tripped up, and then slowed down or tripped up by the blanditiis and the in lacebris, by her, eius, feminine singular genitive, again referring to pleasure, by her enticements, blanditiis, and by her in lacebris, her traps or tricks. Each one of these is plural and ablative, and they are both feminine as well. In lacebris or il lacebris is from il lacebra, and blanditiis is from another first declension feminine noun, blanditia. And so these are both ablatives of instrument, by her flatteries and her enticements. Marcus Porcius Cato the Younger will present the Stoic position here in Book 3. After Julius Caesar won the Civil War, Cato committed suicide.